Arkadaşlar
And
birinci
is there
video.
any way you can think
İkinci
about
video.
how you've seen this pan out in almost real
David
life?
Baksucki
For
cidden
us,
yani
in the midst of
ümit var
COVID, like I
ya.
mentioned, we've seen the virtual birthday parties, people trying to connect,
Abi şu an bu canlı
younger
biliyor
people trying
musunuz?
to figure out
Canlı
how
canlı.
to, work at a distance. Even
Bu
have you seen
arada
any
benim
of this
üçüncü
come
video
true in real
yayınlandı.
life?
Senden haber yok.
Yeah, I mean, everything happens. Even the news
Neyse
anchors and
arkadaşlar
every
videoyu burada
host
ara
of late
veriyorum.
night
Bu
television.
videoyu
Everybody's
ilk gün
having to do
olarak
everything from
yayınlayacağım.
home,
Hepinize
virtually
bye.
through the internet.
Allah abi 7
my
abone
daughter
oldum.
who's going to school online, and then also in the evenings she'll hang out with her friends in Roblox and spend time in a virtual space there. Which reminds me, she wanted me to ask you if you could get her a unicorn.
I think there's probably like hundreds of different types of unicorns, and
Abi
not
yalnız
only how we
serverın
work
yarısı
or how we
Türk.
learn, but how we consume
Cidden Türk.
entertainment, how we work together. Ultimately, I think the vision of Ready Player One and Ready Player Two, and thinking about this vision of the metaverse, is all these things we do in real life, we can start to imagine, doing in the metaverse. Have you seen any other pandemic-related things going on related to that, or any other metaverse-related advancements since you wrote Ready Player One?
Yeah, a bunch. So much of what I was just imagining in Ready Player One has since come about. Like the Oculus Quest, I got an Oculus Quest, my Oculus Quest here that I use to hang out in big screen with my friends. There's a VR app called Big Screen where you can hang out in a virtual cinema and with up to like 12 of your friends and all watch a movie together. And afterwards, when you hung out in a virtual space, you really feel like you spent time together. It's really amazing.
Yeah, so we did the
Bilmiyorum da
One
ben
World
birazcık
Together
altı
concept inside of
göstereyim
Roblox,
arkadaşlara.
and there was
Burada
this
bir kolye
really
var.
interesting thing of
Burada bir
walking
kitap var.
around
Kitap
with
bende var.
friends
Burada da bir tane
and
taş var.
looking up at the screen. I found myself going from in 3D screen
Buradan da
to full
bakalım
screen
istersen.
mode back and forth.
Abi bak şunu yazabilirsin.
I really like looking over to my friend next to me and like watching it together. I caught a little of that energy.
Alttan
which I
yorumlardan bir
think is
gönderebilir
what we're all
misiniz ne
hoping
olduğuna?
with the
O zaman bu
metaverse.
video bitince bakarız banka etmeyin.
So I'm looking behind you at your vehicles.
Neyse
Actually
hadi.
have two.
Abi İngilizce anlayan
sitting
altı
back
yazabilir
here.
mi? Ben vallahi gram bir şey anlamadım.
So this is my garage where I come for inspiration.
When I was just out of high school, I had a 1969 Pontiac Firebird,
İngilizceden anlayan altı
400
yazabilirim abi.
V8,
Gram bir şey anlamadım.
4-speed. I know DeLorean is like super favorite for you. Do you use the DeLorean? Like how often do you drive it?
I like to take this car out every night between usually like 8 and 10 o'clock and listen to 80s music and just like recharge my creative batteries. And whenever I take it out, it always makes people happy. When they're seeing the car, usually somebody's seeing the DeLorean for the first time and they've never seen a time machine in person. So it's like a traveling happiness mobile.
One thing I'm curious about, those DeLoreans, are they stock, or have you had to like modify the engine or anything to keep them going?
Yeah, they're all like 35 years old. They made all the DeLoreans between 81 and 82. So they're all about almost 40 years old now, and they do require a lot of work to keep them running. And then plus adding they obviously don't come with all the flux capacitor and wormhole emitter and all the Back to the Future gear. That's all has to be kind of scavenged and cobbled together. So I've been making it more screen accurate over the years. There's always more tweaks I can do to make it cooler. So it's like a hobby, having a car like an old car like this antique is it's a fun hobby to have.
And I think, in a sense, those are stainless, aren't they? Like.
Oh yeah, they never rust. Yeah.
Isn't that like the Cybertruck 4 years earlier?
I know. Yeah. It's the Cybertruck definitely looks like it took some inspiration from the DeLorean. For a car that came out 40 years ago, it's still the most futuristic looking car there is. It looks like a spaceship.
Hey, so I know with Ready Player One and now with the release of Ready Player Two, your life's probably gone through a lot of change. Mine has too. There was this time before in the early days of Roblox, it was Eric and me, like two of us, just working on this thing, and then Matt and John joined us, and that was very different for me. You know, that was going in, writing code every day, quiet office. My life's completely different now, and now we have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of great people that all work together. How about you? Like, has your life changed?
My life has changed drastically. Since when I was writing Ready Player One, I was working a tech support job. I was interested in technology, but I always wanted to be a writer. But I also was interested in computers, and working tech support was a way to kind of work in a facet of what I was interested in. But it was a grueling job where I was on the phone, for 10 hours a day and helping people with their computers. And it wasn't a job that I enjoyed, but because I worked that job, a lot of elements of what I was learning about technology and helping people use computers, and also the job of being a tech support rep, that all worked its way into my novel, into Ready Player One. The way the main character works tech support in the Oasis for a while, and so that was something from my life that ended up informing the story. So even though I didn't enjoy that job at the time, and wished I was working somewhere else, now I'm grateful, that I had that job and that experience, because it worked its way into my story. It's like when I was a kid, we lived in a trailer park for a while, which was not fun. And my room was actually the tiny laundry room of the trailer, and it was just for a little while. But that was something that I put into Ready Player One. Wade
Yeah.
sleeping in the laundry room of his trailer, and
Yep.
the stacks, and all of that came from this experience in my real life, and I saw it depicted in a Steven Spielberg movie. So that's something I always like to tell aspiring writers about. Is sometimes you're doing a job in your life, or you're living somewhere that you're not happy with, but later on that could help inspire you to write the story that could change your life. So you should kind of embrace those experiences, whatever is going on in your life, and try to put that into your work.
And I think there's a lot of optimism, you know, in your books as well around the power of imagination. And in effect, the metaverse is built on imagination. So I always take that as a very optimistic thing for all of us that are trying to create, whether it's music or 3D or imagery.
Yeah.
Hey, and then riffing on Ready Player Two. So the number seven's kind of relevant, and of course we're not in spoiler zone here. But hey, is this random? Is there some significance to this?
Like the number three in Ready Player One, three is a magic number. Number seven is a number that comes up a lot in pop culture and in video games. And kind of collecting seven pieces of something is something that would come up in Dungeons and Dragons modules, and also in like Sonic the Hedgehog